Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and thanks for being here. So this video is for the upcoming Virgo New Moon, which is on the 23rd of August, so it's a couple of days away. And it's funny, but after I uploaded my last video, I realized it was my 100th video and I was really happy about that. But then I've sort of come to a grinding halt. I haven't been able to upload anything since then, so it's been nearly a week. And I guess that's life, isn't it? Sometimes things just get in the way. But I'm happy to say I've found the time to work on this video just in time for the lunar video. Well, it's due, isn't it? So I've had time to work on it, which is good. Still a few things going on, so I hope I can get back to my usual recording schedule. Not that I have a very regular one, but I try and get at least 2 videos out a week normally. But anyway, it is what it is. I have been able to keep going with my daily Facebook posts, and they've been really good because I can write those on the go, like if I'm on public transport or stuck waiting somewhere. So I'm really glad I started doing those because it's just something I can do daily. I don't always manage to get them done in the morning if there are other things going on, but I can definitely write something every day, which is good, and it's a good feeling to be able to do that. But anyway, enough about me. We'll get started with this video and find out what we're looking at with this new moon. Now, the format for this video is the same as what I've always done, which is to take a look at the astrology chart briefly and then follow that with a tarot spread for the new moon. The timestamps for each of those sections will be in the description box. And we'll now just do our love pause as we normally do before we start. So this is where we pause and take a minute to intentionally send some loving energy out into the universe. You can also do a Ho'oponopono prayer, which is where you say the 4 sentences. Thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. So the time to pause the video is now, and I'll see you all on the next slide. All right, so this is our new moon chart. Now, I personally find the tarot and astrology can relate quite well to each other. And sometimes the tarot kind of clarifies something that was in the astrology. So I tend to suggest that you watch both sections. But if you're if you're not interested in astrology at all, please feel free to skip through to the tarot. Now this chart here is looking a lot less full on than that Aquarius full moon chart last time. So I don't think it's going to be too involved discussing this, but I'll just go through my usual method, which is to start with the new moon itself. So I've got highlighted in purple the sun and the moon, and they're always together at the same degree point for a new moon. So here they are at the very start of Virgo at 0 degrees of Virgo. Now that's interesting because new moons are obviously related to new cycles beginning, and here we are at the beginning of a sign at the beginning of Virgo. Now Virgo is a mutable sign, so it's one that deals well with change, and it's associated with health and daily routines and habits. So I feel like this could well be that we're starting to have we're wanting to start a new cycle in terms of changes that we want to see in our health perhaps, or in how we live our lives. Now the sign of Mercury is ruled by both the sign of Virgo is ruled by both Mercury and Chiron. Mercury was retrograde, it's now direct, which is good, it's in Leo, and Chiron is currently retrograde in Aries. Now I won't say too much here today about Chiron, but I can see that there's a square to Chiron from Venus in Cancer, so there may be something that comes up in terms of healing, or something like that during this new moon as well. But I'll get back to Mercury because that's the thing that's got my interest, because Mercury obviously rules both Virgo and Gemini. And that's very interesting because the only aspect coming into this full moon itself is coming from Uranus in Gemini. And again, so they're both mutable signs, and we're dealing with the very start of those signs. So again, there's something beginning in that Gemini part of the chart. So the aspect between these two, like I said, it's a square. So basically there's 2 Mercury ruled areas of our lives where there's some kind of conflict or disagreement. Now Gemini obviously is air energy. It relates to thoughts, beliefs, communication and expression. And Virgo is earth energy, so it relates to the material existence. In terms of the planets themselves, Uranus is a much more powerful energy. It's an outer planet, and I tend to see it as a cosmic influence. So the sun and the moon are obviously personal planets in astrology. So that's where, we might be thinking we need to make a certain change, but then Uranus might come in with something else. And we do tend to associate Uranus with shocks, disruptions, rebelliousness. So I guess I would see that as an influence where if it's challenged, it's just going to do whatever it wants to do. It's not going to play by any rules or expectations. It's just going to do, no, this is what I'm doing and I'm doing it. So this square here is quite interesting. So we might be feeling like there's certain changes we want to make, and then Uranus in Gemini will be like, yeah, nah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work with the changes I'm making. And so you just need to stop. So it's kind of being, it's going to like override whatever we're thinking is what I'm feeling. And so these are two different areas of your life, but they're both mutable signs. So, they will deal with change. And the good thing with mutable signs is even if there's a conflict, there's that ability to adapt as well. So even if, this square comes in from Uranus to block or to tell us to not bother with what we're thinking of doing, we're going to adapt to that in terms of how we respond. So, we might just rework the plan or whatever. So, they're both mutable, which is good. With it being in an air sign like Gemini, there might be a sudden change in mindset. There might be a sudden message or communication that comes in, and it's going to just point out that the material changes you're about to embark on either don't need to happen, or, there might not be the right changes to be making, or you might just need to tweak it somehow. So it seems like there's something interesting that will come through to influence the changes that we're trying to make. So as I said, Uranus, I do see it as a cosmic influence. So this might be something like we think we need to change something in our material life that's problematic, and the divine plan comes in and says, actually, this is what's going to happen, and you just need to rethink those changes that you want to make. Now, I've also previously said that obviously Uranus and Gemini are kind of a power combination as well, because they're both quick and dynamic energies. So this can be very quick in terms of how it lands, very unexpected, just out of the blue, something changes kind of thing. Now, getting back to Uranus, it's obviously still in that minor grand trine with all the other outer planets. So we've got Pluto in Aquarius and Neptune and Saturn in Aries. I've got all of those highlighted in yellow. They're towards the left of the chart, obviously. So that minor grand trine, it's been in play on and off for a little while. And those are all because they're all outer planets. I do see them as all cosmic influences. They're not personal planets, but because of this interplay they've had for a very long time now, they're in cahoots with each other. These are all favorable aspects between these planets, so they're all in agreement about what's going on. They're not directly influencing, those other planets are not directly influencing the full moon, but they're on Team Uranus because of this minor grand trine. So in this square, obviously Uranus is squaring the planets, the sun and the moon, but it's getting support from all the other outer planets. Okay, so there's a bit of a team there that's working through Uranus. Highlighted in blue is another aspect. There's a sextile between Mars in Libra and Mercury in Leo. Now, Mars is obviously our masculine energy that takes action on things. So Mercury, obviously, this is a Mercury is quite influential in this full new moon. So that relates to our mind. So Mercury and Mars are kind of working together in this sextile. So if Uranus in Gemini is the dominant energy, then I guess Mars will be taking action on whatever that new plan is that comes in from Uranus, because it's going to kind of overrule whatever we were thinking, the divine plan as opposed to our plan. So I think that's pretty much all really with this chart, so that I want to talk about anyway. So we'll move on to the tarot section next. This is our spread for this Virgo New Moon. If you're interested in the decks that I've used here, I'll have them listed in the description box. Now, this is unusual for me. I don't normally channel at all when I'm pulling the cards, but as I was pulling these cards for this spread, I just felt like the story was unfolding as I was looking through the cards. So I'll just still go through my usual process so I don't miss anything, but I feel like I have the storyline already, which is strange for me. It might just be a once-off experience, of course, but I've got to say I wouldn't mind becoming an instant channeler. I could just go straight into live readings then, couldn't I? But anyway, I'll start at the bottom of the deck like I always do. This is the Ace of Cups. This is actually a French deck, but obviously tarot is tarot. I love that it's in French, but I don't actually speak French, so I'll try not to butcher any of these words. But this is the Ace of Cups. And as I said before, the meanings of these cards did kind of come as I was pulling cards for the spread. So this particular card, I'm just getting divine love from this card, and it's because of the two closest cards to it. So I feel like this is about divine love and its influence in our lives. Now, thinking back to the astrology, I was saying that all of those outer planets are cosmic influences working together, and that they're showing up through Uranus and Gemini to share something that we need to know so that we will make the right changes in our lives. So maybe that's the influence of this divine love in our lives. So it's a bit like a parent who might want to share something that's going to set a child onto a better path. So I feel like this is the divine coming through for us in the same way, and it's because we're loved. Now, the first card in this tarot spread is lovely. It's the Nine of Pentacles, which is about someone who's successful and financially independent. They have worked hard to be in the position they're in. Oops, something just fell. Sorry about that. So they've worked hard to be in the position they're in, and they're now in a position where they can relax and enjoy the fruits of their labour. And it was interesting that this card came right under the Lakshmi and Ganesh card here that's titled Prosperity Vibration. That card has the message, you are attracting health, wealth, and happiness. Now, as I said before, I was just getting divine love because of these three cards playing together. Now, I'm actually of a Hindu background, so I honestly smiled when I saw this Lakshmi and Ganesh card. It was the first card that came out for this spread. So I grew up with pictures of these deities in my home. And of course, the benevolent Hindu deities, they always have the sweetest expressions on their faces, don't they? I've actually got a few pictures around now as I'm recording, so they're watching me. But anyway, for some reason for me, these two deities, Lakshmi and Ganesh, in particular, they always seem to be the softest energies and the softest, gentlest kind of energies out of all of the deities. We obviously have a few, and in a Hindu home you'll have pictures, like lots of different pictures of lots of different deities, but these two always seemed like the gentlest energies. So I don't know if anyone else watching this is also a Hindu or of a Hindu background, but I would be interested to know if that resonates for you as well. But anyway, seeing this card, it really did take me back to my childhood. And I don't always get that when I look at pictures of Hindu deities, but this time I did. And so it is kind of important, but I'm like, even the fact that I've got those pictures around me, I feel like it's making me think of the gods smiling down on the ones they love, like the ones they're blessing with their favor. So these two deities, Lakshmi and Ganesh, they're both associated with good luck and good fortune and blessings. Ganesh obviously is also associated with the clearing of obstacles. So thinking back, like, to this person in the Nine of Pentacles energy, maybe they've always been loved and favored by the gods. They've been blessed along their journey. Maybe things have worked out well for them, and that's how they've made it to this Nine of Pentacles energy. They've been able to make progress. They've been able to overcome obstacles on their path. So I'm seeing those three first cards that I've just talked about as like amazingly linked. So I do think that that's a strong message of divine love and blessing and favor. Now, that's a great card, the Nine of Pentacles, but it's showing up as a past energy here. So they were obviously doing very well at that point in their life. The card that follows is the Three of Pentacles, and this is normally a good card because it's about people working together to achieve a common goal. In this spread, though, I'm not seeing it as a good card. And I got this vibe straight away looking at the spread. Like I said, I was getting the meaning as I put the cards out, and I went, um, it didn't look good. And the reason I say that is, firstly, there's an oracle card above it that's not too good. But then I saw that the next card is the Six of Swords, and that's in the future position. So there were actually two cards that came out together for the future position. We got the Six of Swords with the Death card. So that the Death obviously represents the ending of something. So the Six of Swords, really, it's actually a card about someone leaving a bad situation where they experienced bad things. So I'm going to say that, seeing as none of these cards on their own are bad, I'm going to say that Three of Pentacles card was a bad experience for this person because they're leaving something bad in the future. So as I was looking at the spread, I got the energy of envy from this card, and that kind of makes sense because obviously if there's a collaboration, then there's people working closely together. Maybe it becomes clear to the other people that this particular person has been very blessed in their life and their material blessings because they're already in the Nine of Pentacles energy before they even came into this collaboration. So maybe there's a group here. They're all working towards something becoming a success, but it becomes clear that one of these people has already achieved success. They're already doing well. And unfortunately, it's human nature that people are envious and resentful of people that they perceive as having more than they do. And I'm actually getting the attitude of, why are they so blessed? It's not fair. So it's just not coming through. Like, it's coming through as a bit immature, to be honest. So Nine of Pentacles, I mean, blessed or not, a person has worked hard to get to the Nine of Pentacles. You know, if their trees are bearing fruit, it's because they planted the seeds and looked after the trees, you know, as they were growing. So it's in the Nine of Pentacles card, it's normally a vineyard that's shown. So the point is not that someone inherited a successful vineyard. The point is that they perhaps planted the vines and tended them and watched them grow and waited for the grapes to come and then, you know, the winemaking process or whatever. But the point is that they went through all those steps, and that's how it ends up being a successful vineyard. It's because of all that time invested, all the work they did, and so on. So they might have been divinely loved and blessed, but they still did the work. So and as I'm saying that, I'm thinking of the phrase, the gods help those who help themselves. So it could even be that the reason this person was blessed was because they were so committed to what they were doing. So, you know, it is that. I mean, don't we say like fortune favors the brave? Like the people who go out there and take the initiative and do the investing, like that, they're the ones that end up succeeding because it's just life. Like you put the effort out and you get the returns. So, that's interesting. But the other thing I'm getting is to do with these blessings, because these are Hindu deities that have shown up here, and this is a whole deck of different spiritual, characters. So, we get these Hindu deities, and in Hinduism, obviously, we say that our blessings and challenges are connected to karma. So every soul that incarnates will get a life experience that relates to their karma. So the challenges will be for the soul to learn certain lessons, and the blessings might relate to areas where the lessons have already been learned, or maybe if someone's materially blessed in this lifetime, they've already cleared karma related to greed or materialism in a previous lifetime. And of course, it can also be that the blessings are associated with lessons as well. So if we were talking about someone, for example, who's blessed in their relationships, I mean, even those blessed relationships will have some problems and challenges, won't they? So I guess what I'm saying is, even if this person is materially blessed, that doesn't mean there's no challenges that go with that. So and in fact, this experience of other people resenting their success, there's a lesson in that as well. So maybe this was a lesson where they're meant to learn about protecting themselves, or learn that they have to be discerning about who they get involved with, or things like that. And so it's a blessing, but it's also bringing in lessons. And I guess regardless of what other people might think, the material blessings this person has are not a random blessing. They've received these blessings for the seeds that they've sown in this lifetime and because of karma that relates to past lifetimes. So it's not random. You know, they certainly have been materially blessed. That's a great card, but you know, it was due to them really in terms of this lifetime, previous lifetimes as well. So as I mentioned earlier, the card above this was also not good, which is why I wasn't feeling good about the Three of Pentacles. The card above the Three of Pentacles is titled Discontentment. So definitely confirming that this wasn't a happy collaboration experience. And in fact, this card is a number 15 card. And the first thing I thought of when I saw that was the Devil card in Tarot. So with that energy coming through, I feel like this collaboration they became entangled with people who weren't good for them at all, and I feel like it wasn't obvious either. So, and I say that because the Devil card didn't show up in the spread as a tarot card; it's only showing up as a number. So, I feel like what was originally envy perhaps ended up becoming quite toxic over time. So it because you can't sugarcoat the devil energy. It's a horrible energy. So I feel like maybe the people they were involved with started doing things that were shady or bad, or I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The devil energy is bad energy. They started doing bad things. So maybe they started working against this person or trying to take this person down in some way. You can't really sugarcoat devil energy. So it might have started maybe with just one person who was a hater, and then they pulled other people into it, and then it ended up with this person becoming a target for like a group of bullies. And that's obviously how things happen, isn't it? Like that's what happens to kids in school as well. And it's funny that I was getting that immature vibe from the envy feeling earlier. So these are just bullies, I think, that haven't mentally evolved past high school or something. And bullies really, they tend to have issues, don't they? Like instead of identifying something as a trigger that they need to work through, they'll just decide to go after someone instead. Because really, if someone's doing better than us in some way, or they are better than us in some way, we could recognize that we're a little bit envious and acknowledge that, and then we could, see if there's something we can learn from them, or we can try and emulate their behaviors that have got them to success or whatever. Like we can just be inspired by them, learn from them, that sort of thing. But some people, these bullies, they just decide they're going to tear the person down instead. Like, oh my God, how dare they be better than us at something, as if it's their fault for being who they are. People can't help who they are. Like if they're good looking or charming or talented or materially blessed or whatever, those are just blessings that happened for them. It's not like they can help being who they are. And they're certainly not intentionally doing anything to upset other people. So really, it's the people who are triggered that might need to take a good look at themselves if they're seeing someone else's blessings as a reason to attack them. Yeah. Haters really need to wake up to their own toxicity. And maybe that's what the divine wants them to learn from this experience, Now, I've already mentioned the cards in the future position, we've got the Six of Swords in Death. So this person's going to leave this toxic collaboration and then it's all over. So Death is a Scorpio card. It's really the only one that's actually shown up as a major arcana card here. But it's the card of transformation and rebirth. So I do feel like this person is going to be transformed profoundly by this experience. They'll become a different person. And the last oracle card officially is the Feel Your Emotions card. And I'm seeing this message is about the healing process. So when people have been bullied, they don't get over that quickly or easily. But I feel with this message that if we allow ourselves to feel the pain and the feelings that come up, we can obviously process them and release them. Now, interestingly, just like the 15 reminded me of the devil, we've got the 14 here, which is the Temperance card energy. Now, Temperance is the card of alchemy. So I feel like alchemizing the negativity of this experience is also part of this big transformation this person is going to experience. This person's going to be leveling up because of this bad experience. So that's really what alchemy is. It's the process of something becoming purified or refined, like it's about base metals being transformed into precious metals. So if we're talking about a person, they're being purified and refined, and the version of them that emerges from that healing alchemical process, that's going to be a higher version. So, you know, this was a horrible experience, I'm sure, but they're going to emerge from it elevated. So that's that. I did pull an extra oracle card. I didn't really feel like I needed it, but I've just got this thing where if the last card is not a positive card, then I'll pull an extra clarifier. So I've always tended to do that, so I just did it anyway. But it's got winter and waning present on it, so that is definitely confirming that this is a cycle that's ending, and it will be followed by the start of a new cycle. So it's the same kind of message as the death card, but there are a few keywords on this card. Now, some of these keywords relate to the holiday season, and I'm going to leave those out because winter is obviously only the holiday season if you're living in the Northern Hemisphere, and it doesn't seem especially relevant for this with it being a lunar reading, but the rest of the keywords do feel relevant, so I'll read them out. They are detached, hibernate, contemplation, go within, silence, rest, self-reflect, complete, think it over, the end, and no, let it be. So the guidance is essentially it's for a lot of solitude and introspection and rest and reflection. So that all fits with taking the time to heal and process this experience. And the other messages are saying that this is complete, it's over, it's ended. And we have obviously no, let it be at the end. So I feel like that's a message to not go back to anything that relates to that past experience. There's really no need to go looking for an explanation or for closure or for justice. Like, just let it be. Don't even worry about those things. Now, karma has obviously come up in this reading already. So I feel like you just need to leave it all to the divine, because everyone's going to get the experiences that will teach them the lessons they need to learn. Now, if they lack insight, they'll continue to wonder why they aren't divinely blessed and other people are. And really, that's failing to appreciate that the divine isn't going to bless people who choose to do bad things and harm other people. So I feel like these people need to learn that for a start. And actually, the other thing that's coming to me is that these people might actually have received blessings or their share of blessings as well. Like they might already have been blessed and they're failing to appreciate it, because that tends to be the case whenever we're focusing on what other people have and envying them. We're actually failing to focus on and appreciate our own blessings, and that's a mistake. You know, we're not appreciating what we have. We're not expressing our gratitude to the divine for what the divine has offered us. And if we're going to be ungrateful and unappreciative, then we're not going to be attracting new blessings, because, you know, you're not appreciating the ones you've already got. So it is what it is. But anyway, let's move on from those people. The point is that if this reading is resonating for you, you need to just let go of that experience, let it go completely, and focus on your own healing, because it's going to pay off in a big way. It's going to lead to this better version of you. You will alchemize this experience and you will be fine. So don't look back. Just close the door on that experience and the people involved and keep moving forward. That cycle is closing out. A new cycle will begin. So it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. And yeah, so that's all I've got here with this spread. So I'll just finish here. And that's it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. Normally with the new moon, I would say, you know, make sure you set your intentions. But this time, obviously, those intentions might be needing to be tweaked if something comes in, some extra information or something like that. So yeah, keep yourselves open to being flexible with things. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a like or leave a comment if you feel guided to. If you enjoy the videos I do, please consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you to everyone who's already subscribed. It means a lot to me to have your support. And that's it. I hope that I will see you all at another reading. Take care. Bye.